Hello and welcome to Crossout, bringing games that you missed to the spotlight. All know that ninjas existed since a long time ago, but little is known that they existed from the Caveman ages, and Joe and Mac Caveman Ninja are here to prove it. The story of the game is quite simple. All the women from your tribe are stolen by a different tribe, and it's your goal to save them. You'll encounter the opposite tribe and some other more difficult bosses along the way. The game originally got its boot on the arcade, so it's quite a straight up beat 'em up, but with mostly focused on throwing weapons. And you have a huge variety of them, speaking of. There are fireballs, the common axe, boomerangs, and very different stuff. You get them by cracking eggs and collecting the drop, which you get there. Your life can be replenished by eating food that drops from dead enemies, but also another twist of the game is that you lose health with time, like your character gets hungry, and you can even die from starvation. The levels themselves are quite short actually, and often it's quite obvious who's your boss going to be. And in the boss fight, you'll see the trapped lady that you have to rescue, and you'll be fighting the boss, throwing stuff at you. When you hit the boss, you get cross marks under your icon, which indicate how many hits you've got. And it's more of importance when you're playing with somebody else in co-op, where the win goes to the one who deals more damage to the boss, no matter how good they perform during the original parts of the game. So that also does help. And after you kill the boss, the lady magically frees itself, for some reason you couldn't do it before, and gives a kiss to the one who dealt the more damage. Now, you'll be playing mostly with Joe, the green caveman, if that sounds illogical, and the second player will be playing with Mac. There isn't much difference between the two, and they do pretty much everything the same, except for the original weapon is a different skin. Joel throws these axes, while Mac has some bone clubs. Now, sometimes from the eggs they'll pop up bombs and even pterodactyls, which are monsters that can hurt you badly. The graphics, as you can see, of the game quite simple, but it works well. And this game is really fun. No matter how much you lose, and you lose quite often, you'll still be back to it, playing more and more and more. And you'll be even glad to replay the first level because it's just fun. Also, every time you die, you get this angel cutscene, which is a tad annoying because you can't skip it. Now, bosses involve different creatures like this plant from the Little Shop of Horrors, and T-Rexes and other living things. Sometimes in the levels you'll get different routes to choose from, and depending on that, the game will progress differently. It might lead you straight away to the boss battle, or just set you at the beginning of the map and you'll have to climb your way and fight it by yourself. Now, bosses with time get more advanced, get more variety with their attacks, and are harder to predict what they're gonna do. But overall, it's all about patterns and figuring out what the opponent is about to do. Weapons vary mostly in the range they reach, and the club is like middle range. There are a little shorter range weapons, and there's the superhero spirit thing that sends a clone of yourself as an attack that goes all across the screen, and I think it's also the most powerful weapon of the game. Now, the sound is actually very simple and repeats itself quite often, and all the boss fights, for example, have the same tune, which is quite simple and sometimes a bit annoying, but you don't really care about it once you get yourself really immersed into the game. Now, more advanced stages will eventually have dual platforms which you have to time your jumping over, and more careful planning because the screen will scroll and you might die from that also. Also, water is a huge enemy for cavemen as common knowledge goes, and it will hurt them quite badly. Also, for a weird reason, the opposite tribe cavemen get along very well with dinosaurs, but you can't really seem to. And everything out there is actually trying to kill you. But overall, the game is really great. Especially if you got a friend to play with, because the co-op is actually a lot easier than the single player, and you progress much further. And progress is kinda hard in this game, and you rarely reach even level 3, or maybe just that I suck that much in the game, I don't know. Some of the weapons include some magic weapons like fireballs or lightning bolts. Now eventually you'll get accustomed to the game, you'll learn the tricks of it and how to play it simply. You'll figure the game much more easily and you'll be able to progress more, but that just comes with more and more playthroughs, and you will do a lot of them. Also, the opponent of your tribe seem to be very progressed technologically for cavemen. They're using helicopters against you and throwing bombs at you and stuff. And well, it's strange that if they're so progressed technologically, they have to resort to using some T-Rexes or huge mutated plants to protect their women instead of just using a huge robot or something. Also, I kinda never got the idea why monsters are protecting the women if the tribe kidnapped them. So maybe the other tribe couldn't keep them themselves and they kinda lost them, or they were serving the monsters, or I'm overthinking, I think. But the game is simple. It doesn't confuse you. It doesn't try to be superbly complex or anything. It's just about straightforward fun and killing ancient people and dinosaurs and other stuff, and hatching eggs with boomerangs in them. And actually kinda curious where this game is supposed to be taking place in, because it's got all various types of food and quite often it has sushi in it, so I guess it's still Japan, and well, maybe John Mack are the first ninja of the world, and I think I'm overthinking it again. But well, speculating and making fun of this game is quite easy and is great fun, so you'll also be enjoying that most likely. But still, you'll be playing it quite a lot, and mostly because you'll be dying a lot. Most of the fun you'll be getting is like to kill a couple of minutes, and just to, if you have to wait for something to happen or a site to load, you just boot up the game and just go and play it. Especially now when it's forgotten abandonware that you can get pretty much for free and just run for fun. Eventually, when you die, and you will die, you will get this neat high score input system which keeps track, and you can see who's the best at killing ancient things. So yeah, you should give this game a try.